All right, Celtics Nation, let's dive into what's been happening with the team and the performances that are shaping up to define this stretch of the season. One player that caught my attention recently is Amari Williams. We didn't spotlight him enough in the previous breakdown, but there were some plays that really stood out and are worth analyzing. Take, for instance, that screen he set for Jaylen Brown that turned into a fluid, almost cinematic play down the lane. He executed it perfectly, boxing out his man, creating space, and showing off the kind of awareness that makes you wonder why he isn't getting more run. It wasn't just that play. He also delivered a sharp cross-court pass to Baylor Shyman. Unfortunately, the shot didn't go in, but the vision and execution were clean, a reminder that he can make an impact beyond the stat sheet. What struck me is his versatility in the post and his ability to read the floor. That's a skill that not every young player has, and it's something the Celtics can definitely cultivate over time. At the same time, there are areas for growth. There were a few moments where he chased block attempts a bit too aggressively, leaving him slightly out of position afterward. It's not like he was reckless. He still made some solid block attempts. But there were 3 specific situations where after going for a block, he turned and looked around instead of boxing out. Against a team like the Pistons, giving up offensive rebounds is costly. That's the kind of detail that the coaching staff can hammer in during practice, helping him understand which block attempts are worth pursuing and what to do immediately afterward. Then there was that late-game sequence where Jaylen Brown got caught in traffic. Amari could have slid over to provide an outlet, and that's a teachable moment about court awareness and timing. Overall, though, his performance was promising. It's clear he has earned another look on the roster, whether it's while Cade Cunningham is out or even when he returns. He could carve out a role off the bench or see rotational minutes as a third option, and the team could benefit from integrating him gradually. Developing chemistry with star players is another critical aspect. Amari has the chance to learn how to operate alongside Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and that experience could be invaluable for his growth. Even a few NBA-level minutes with them can teach lessons that are impossible to replicate in the G League. The strategy could involve giving him game time now, then sending him back to Maine to refine the lessons learned in live action, and then bringing him back once he's improved. It's a cycle that has worked before, and for Amari, it's an opportunity to grow without the pressure of immediate high-stakes minutes. The Celtics seem to be experimenting with rotations that mix traditional bigs with small ball lineups, and Amari could be a part of that flexible approach. In fact, using him as a rim protector and shot blocker while also experimenting with a smaller lineup at the center position creates a curveball for opposing teams. It's like mixing pitchers in baseball. You keep the opposition guessing, and that unpredictability can be a huge tactical advantage. Watching Hugo Gonzalez during his limited minutes was also impressive. His defensive awareness and effort stood out. And while he isn't going to be a Tatum-level superstar, he shows potential to reach the level of a high-quality supporting player. His intensity and sense of positioning make him a candidate for meaningful minutes, and it's clear the coaching staff values his presence on the court. The young players are learning not just how to score or defend, but how to fit into a system and contribute in ways that complement the team's stars. That's crucial when you're playing alongside players of the caliber of Brown and Tatum, and it's something that can pay dividends in the playoffs and beyond. The team is also refining situational plays, especially late-game defensive strategies. One example is fouling at the right moment to prevent easy baskets without giving away free points. Timing is everything, and teaching players to foul during the downward dribble rather than when the ball handler is fully prepared is a subtle but effective tactic. These moments are teachable and have long-term implications, helping the team prevent unnecessary scoring opportunities and maintain control in critical moments. The Celtics' defensive philosophy is paying off, and these small adjustments are what separate good teams from great ones. Then, of course, there's the anticipation surrounding Jason Tatum's return. The team and fans alike are eager to see him back on the court, and it's important to manage expectations. His reintegration will likely be gradual, with careful minutes to reacclimate him to game speed without risking injury. Practicing with the main roster and working in controlled scrimmages is the safest way to bring him back while still providing competitive exposure. This approach mirrors strategies seen in other sports where players returning from injury get measured time in less intense competition before fully stepping back into the main event. For Tatum, the goal is not just to return to play, but to regain rhythm, timing, and chemistry with his teammates. The timing of his return, potentially around the All-Star break, seems ideal. It allows him to shake off rust, regain confidence, and take valuable lessons into the postseason. The Celtics have a chance to optimize his minutes, gradually building him into full form while keeping the team competitive in the interim. Even if Tatum returns as a situational player rather than immediately resuming a starring role, his presence will enhance the team's dynamics. He can plug gaps, support rotations, and get back into competitive shape without being thrust into high-pressure situations right away. That measured approach protects him physically and strategically, ensuring he is at peak performance when it really counts. There's also an interesting question of whether players like Tatum would ever see time in Maine with the G League squad to get extra minutes, though it's more likely that Maine players will join Boston practice sessions. This hybrid approach allows Tatum to stay sharp while avoiding unnecessary risk against less controlled competition. It's a clever workaround that balances development, rehabilitation, and team needs. Finally, when looking at potential playoff scenarios, there's a universe where Tatum returns mid-season. The Celtics hold a solid position in the standings, and he contributes meaningfully without being pushed into a full workload. In this context, he becomes part of the puzzle, filling specific roles and allowing the team to execute its strategy without undue pressure. The focus is on maximizing his impact gradually while building chemistry and giving the team flexibility. He might not lead a deep playoff run immediately, but his presence could make a significant difference in crucial moments, providing stability, skill, and leadership as the Celtics navigate the remainder of the season. Continuing on, Celtics Nation, let's take a closer look at the evolving rotations and how these decisions are shaping the team's identity on both ends of the floor. One thing that stands out is the team's willingness to experiment with small ball lineups and unconventional rotations. For example, bringing in a player like Luka Garza alongside Amari Williams creates a completely different dynamic than a traditional big man lineup. Garza, while not spectacular in limited minutes, adds a certain floor spacing and post presence, but pairing him with someone like Amari, who can protect the rim and block shots, adds versatility. Suddenly, you have the ability to switch between controlling the paint and pushing tempo, which keeps opposing teams off balance. The Celtics have shown glimpses of understanding how to manipulate matchups and exploit mismatches, and this experimentation with lineups is a testament to their strategic flexibility. Coaches aren't afraid to deviate from the script, and that mindset could be critical as the season unfolds and playoff intensity ramps up. Amari's role as a shot blocker and rim protector cannot be overstated. Those few blocks we saw weren't just stats, they shifted momentum in real time. Think back to that second quarter sequence where Baylor Shyman Dove, for a loose ball, flipped it behind his back, and the play culminated in a block that energized the crowd. Moments like that aren't just about points. They're about creating energy, setting the tone, and sending a message to opponents that the Celtics can control the paint. It's the kind of presence that allows smaller lineups to thrive without sacrificing defensive integrity. The psychological impact of a player who can alter shots and dictate spacing often outweighs raw statistics, and Amari is demonstrating that he can be a key piece in that puzzle. Looking at young talent, Hugo Gonzalez is another player whose defensive instincts and effort have caught the eye. While he isn't expected to carry the team offensively, his ability to read plays, anticipate movements, and compete at a high level defensively makes him a standout in limited minutes. He has the potential to develop into a reliable rotational player, someone who can be counted on to provide defensive stability while giving the Stars some rest. It's encouraging to see players like Hugo and Amari gaining experience and confidence at the NBA level, especially in a system that emphasizes both individual skill and team cohesion. These minutes serve as both development and assessment, allowing the coaching staff to gauge readiness for larger roles down the line. Defensively, the Celtics are refining their approach in situational moments. One key concept involves smart fouling, particularly in half-court scenarios where preventing an easy basket is essential. Timing is everything, and teaching players to foul during a downward dribble, rather than when a player is fully in control of the ball, is a nuanced tactic that can prevent giving up critical points. The team's ability to execute these subtleties reflects a deeper understanding of game flow and situational awareness. It's the kind of detail that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but can determine the outcome of close games. Mastering these small, precise adjustments is a hallmark of teams that sustain success over a long season. Turning back to Tatum's upcoming return, the approach is meticulous and strategic. He won't be rushed, and his minutes will be managed to ensure he reintegrates effectively without risking re-injury. The coaching staff's plan appears to focus on giving him controlled minutes in practice and possibly in scrimmages with the main G League players, rather than immediate high-pressure games. This method allows him to regain timing, chemistry with teammates, and confidence without being thrown directly into intense competition. Once he's ready, incremental minutes in regular NBA games will help him regain rhythm and conditioning, ensuring he is fully prepared for more demanding stretches later in the season. The goal is steady progress, not a rushed return, which speaks to a long-term vision rather than short-term gratification. There's also the intriguing concept of how Tatum's return could coincide with potential playoff positioning. If he returns in February or March, he could seamlessly slot into rotations without major disruption. He may not immediately lead the team, but his presence would enhance the Celtics' options, allowing them to maximize the effectiveness of other players while gradually reintroducing his talents. By limiting his minutes early, he avoids fatigue and potential injury while contributing meaningfully to the team's success. This careful management demonstrates a balance between player health, team needs, and competitive goals. Even situational appearances can have significant impact, allowing the Celtics to maintain performance levels while reintegrating a key star. Meanwhile, the developmental path for other players like Amari and Hugo continues. Assignments in the G League or structure practice sessions offer opportunities to refine skills, correct mistakes, and gain confidence in real-time scenarios. The cyclical approach of gaining NBA experience, applying lessons in a lower-stakes environment, and then returning to NBA competition is an effective method for bridging the gap between potential and performance. Players get to understand the nuances of NBA play while building the resilience and awareness necessary to contribute at a high level. This back-and-forth development strategy maximizes learning while minimizing exposure to scenarios that could hinder growth or increase injury risk. The Celtics are also experimenting with offensive strategies alongside these defensive adjustments. Integrating players like Amari into high-leverage possessions teaches them how to read defenses, set effective screens, and make quick decisions with the ball. The combination of veteran stars and developing players creates a dynamic where learning is continuous and real-time. By giving young players meaningful exposure without overwhelming them, the Celtics create an environment that promotes growth and team cohesion simultaneously. It's a smart way to maintain competitiveness while developing the next wave of contributors who understand the system and can thrive within it. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Shockwaves are reportedly rippling through the NBA as whispers circulate about a seismic shakeup in Boston. Insiders suggest that Joe Mazzulla, the head coach who has been navigating the Celtics through turbulent seasons, may no longer be at the helm. Sources close to the team hint at a decision that could reshape the organization's trajectory, leaving fans and analysts scrambling to piece together the implications. Mazzulla, once seen as a promising figure with a keen basketball mind and a strong rapport with the locker room, now finds himself at the center of heated speculation. The rumor mill suggests internal tensions may have reached a boiling point, with disagreements over strategy and team direction allegedly contributing to the shift. While the Celtics have a storied history of swift decision-making when it comes to leadership changes, the timing of this potential departure has caught many by surprise. Conversations around Boston sports bars, social media threads, and national broadcasts are buzzing, with pundits dissecting every subtle signal, from sideline demeanor to post-game interviews, for clues. Some sources claim that the front office is already exploring possible successors, with names of high-profile assistants and even former stars being floated as candidates to fill the vacancy. Meanwhile, players are reportedly navigating the uncertainty with mixed emotions, balancing loyalty to Mazzulla with the drive to maintain focus amid mounting speculation. The atmosphere within the team is said to be tense, with practices reportedly taking on an unusual intensity as the coaching saga unfolds. Even as fans debate the fairness and timing of the rumored decision, one thing seems clear: Boston basketball is on the brink of a new chapter. Whether this move signals a bold push for reinvention or a reactionary shakeup remains a topic of fervent discussion. For now, all eyes are on the Celtics organization, as the league watches with bated breath to see who might step into one of the NBA's most scrutinized coaching positions. In the world of professional basketball, where narratives can shift overnight, the potential exit of Joe Mazzulla is fueling speculation, theories, and hot takes across the nation. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.